Well, hello, guys, and welcome to this month's live critique. Hope you're all doing well. And yeah, how are you guys doing? I know Tom's not feeling too great, as am I, but we're just ploughing on, really. How are you doing, Matt?
Yeah, pretty average.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I know you've not had the best day either, mate.
I haven't had the best month, unfortunately. If you people out there know me at all, you'll know that I have a dog, an Australian Shepherd, and he follows me out on most of my photography adventures, apart from you two boys. And yeah, he's not well, so we don't know what's going to happen to him over the next few days. But he's not looking good right now. So yeah, he's 12. He's an old boy, but still, it still hurts to go through. You don't want him to see him suffer, do you?
Yeah,
No,
that's it.
definitely not. No.
That's it. Well, fingers crossed for you, mate, eh?
Yeah. All everything crossed, mate.
Yeah.
Tom, you've got a head cold. That's odd for you, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, you never get those, do you?
No.
It's his kids, mate. I tell you, it's just,
the rats. That's what they
I
are, the
know.
rodents.
He said you weren't wrong neither. Now they're doubling up on me now.
Yeah.
So
we got Brian on there. Hi, Brian, and Josh too.
Hi,
G'day, Josh, mate. Hope you're
How
well.
are you doing, guys? How are you
See
doing?
you in February, Josh.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, see you February, mate.
Paul's online as well. Paul Cunningham on my
Paul
YouTube.
Cunningham's Paul Cunningham. Is it?
Yeah.
Hi, Paul. It's nice to know we're not talking to each other, and that's it, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, hang on, John Martin. Hi, John. How are you?
Hey, John,
how are you doing, mate? Yeah, so I've only been back about 4 days or something like that. So just got over the whole jet lag thing, and now I'm feeling absolutely rubbish. So yeah.
Oh, mate.
Oh, and hi, Linda. How are you doing?
Hi, Linda.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting few weeks. So yeah. Good news is the workshops went well in Canada, though, so that's all good. Really happy clients, so it was all good.
Job done.
Yep, job done. And then obviously Matt and I have got this one coming up in February in Tuscany, which is going to be interesting as well, eh?
Yeah, it certainly is.
Very jealous of that one.
Get people off the couch, get people off the sofa during winter. Not easy, is it?
Yeah, get people off the sofa during winter and get them outside.
Yeah, get them outdoors. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
Good
what's the go with tonight? I mean, we've changed things up a little bit, haven't we? We've always done the monthly critique, and we've sort of critiqued the images because we've had them hashtagged through Facebook.
Yeah.
Now we've shifted everything over to the website, and things have gone mental, haven't they? We've had that many images come through this month. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's taken me most of the afternoon to kind of go through them as well.
I couldn't wait till I get to the last one. I said, just enough. And there was too many good images, and I'm like, the next one's good. And I'm like, damn it, you know. Yeah,
it's been amazing though to see that there's been so much
blown away
enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and obviously it's a great time of the year, isn't it? Autumn or fall, as you would call it in North America. It's an exciting time of year for those who get to go out and photograph. I've never been out and photographed it yet.
It is, and it's one of our, as for landscape photographers, it's one of our favourite times of year to go out. So,
that's good. Just need that wind to stop now, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we've been. Well, you've been battered down south. We were supposed to get it today, and it never hit. So we've been pretty lucky.
That's right.
Yeah,
I know where I used to live in Cornwall. They had 98-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yeah.
There today and yesterday.
So some great storm photography, though.
Yeah, being careful, obviously.
Ghost.
Yeah, crikey, that's some wind.
Right, let's crack on with this then. So obviously the theme was autumn, and we've had some fantastic images. So I've picked 8 to get through now. I don't know whether we'll get through all 8, but I just thought, I'll pick a couple of extra ones just in case. So we'll start off with Stephen C. This image here, and I loved the look of this image as well.
I hope that's not his surname. Just C.
No, we've got a few of those that are just,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. For privacy purposes, yeah. Otherwise, if that was your surname, just was a C, you'd be.
Yeah, it's a novel name. But yeah, this one stood out to me as well. Really nice image, and obviously taken in really nice conditions.
Oh yeah, stunning, isn't it? Beautiful conditions,
Yeah.
beautiful place. Great
Yeah.
time of year for autumn, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And I'm trying to work out whether he's actually taken it from a jetty, a boat jetty, or something like that, or what? Because it looks as though he's standing in the water from the perspective it's
Yeah.
taken.
Yeah, but would you say from this, the shutter speed sort of, you got a few ripples in the water there, so the shutter speed wouldn't have been ridiculously slow. Otherwise, it just would
No.
have been just smoothed out completely.
Yeah.
It probably would have had a shutter speed of around a third of a second, I would say. So you got that little bit of that ripple effect that's still there in the water, in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting to know. Or you just zoomed in from the other side of the lake, which is highly possible.
Well, it's either
Isn't it?
that or those ripples are caused by the jetty moving as he stood on it,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
they're coming from that direction.
Yeah. Didn't think about that.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, it didn't really matter where they were stood. They've captured the conditions beautifully.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's one of those images, isn't it, Tom, that attracts your attention straight away, and you see it. And
yeah,
sometimes I look at these, and I don't want to sound condescending or anything, but these are the type of images that I look at, and they attract your attention. Like, wow! And then you look at them, and then you look at them, and then you look at them a bit more, and you think, "Hang on a second, what's going on there?"
Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
There's a bit of that in there. Yeah.
There is, isn't there? It's
Yeah,
an image that it does attract your attention, and it's it's a, how would you describe it without being negative in any way? It is a social media image, isn't it? Because it does those vibrant colors. It attracts your attention. It's sharp. It's got all those qualities that attracts your attention on social media. But once you look at it for more than a second, which is rare today, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely.
I see that little island on the right-hand side, everything's just way too sharp and too much contrast, and it's just too perfect. You've got all this atmosphere everywhere, haven't you? And then all of a sudden, the atmosphere on that island itself's just been completely cut. It's gone.
Yeah.
And that's done through post-processing, is it? Through post-processing, through sharpening, through contrast, through increasing your whites, your details. And once you do all that work, all that atmosphere that you had before in the original raw file has been completely cut. You've cut through it like you would use a polarizing filter. You've cut through it.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because I feel that atmosphere, I feel that mood everywhere, and then all of a sudden I'm like,
yeah, it stops.
Yeah.
And I know why they've done it, because they've gone to draw attention to that island.
Of course, definitely, yeah.
They've just overdone it. That's all. I think they've just taken a bit too much of that atmosphere, as you say, away.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you take an image like this, it's obviously an excellent image. It's in a perfect situation. Look at the sky. Look at that fog. Look how the reflections are just perfect. Those ripples in the water. Everything about it's stunning. The composition, everything's perfect. And I think you could have given this far more justice by trying to edit it as an image that was meant for something beyond Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that, or do you think I'm being old fashioned when I say that? Because I mean, let's face it, the majority of images today, what are we doing for? We do it. Well, when I say we as in the photographic community. We take photos, unfortunately, to attract attention on social media so that we feel good about ourselves. That's why we do it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I'm looking at it as an old-fashioned photographer, and I think, why not back it off a little bit? You got a little less attention on social media, but you're going to give that image far more justice, because then you're going to be able to print it. You might want to put it in a book one day. Someone might buy that image. You might have that image posted up and put it on a wall. If that image edited this way right now, it will lose those qualities beyond social media.
Yeah.
It ends. So is it worth doing that bit extra to get that attention initially, or is it better to just back off a little bit and then get far much more from it later on?
Yeah. I get what you mean. for sure.
Yeah.
It's just that I guess people haven't got. People have got lots of images up on social media that are edited this way, so they think that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
So
And
it's
you
not,
don't know until you start printing or until you start putting something in a
Yeah.
book, or till a client wants to buy
Mm.
an image off you for some reason.
Yeah.
You don't know, do you?
Well, you don't. You're just following. You're following basically what everybody else is doing, and I get that.
I can remember when I had an image. Oh God, I'm going back. What sort of the beginning of digital now? And I was when digital visually came out, and I didn't have Photoshop or Lightroom. I had Elements. Was it called
Yeah.
Photoshop Elements?
Photoshop
And
elements.
I just used it for the saturation slider. That was just going up and down with the saturation and contrast, and that was about all I knew how to do. And I remember that when someone got in contact with me and said, "I want to buy this image off you," and I was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I can't sell it like that. I've got to be able to present it in a way that it can actually be printed, because there's no way in that condition that can be printed." And that is the same with something like this, I think. I think, well, it all depends what you're doing photography for too. I mean,
It
like I
is,
said, I
definitely.
could be old fashioned.
Well, that's it. If it's just for people to see it and just for people to notice it, then they've done the job. If they want to do more with it, as you say, then maybe I need to back off slightly with that. And I'd have probably, if it was me, I don't think I'd have done away with the atmosphere on the island. If I really wanted people to look at the island and be drawn to that, I might have brightened the island up slightly. I'd have left the atmosphere and just drawn a little bit of attention by maybe, brightening that area up slightly, rather than losing the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, Paul and Tom, if you actually see, you look at the bottom frame where the reflection is of those trees.
Yeah.
Can you see the fog all around that bottom section there in the reflection? Now look up. Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
That just shows you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. That's the most evident. That's the evidence, isn't it?
Because you can see
the reflection doesn't match the.
Because you can see it's there really faintly.
Yeah,
it's there, but it's just been taken away too much.
Yeah.
Normally, from experience, the consistency with reflections isn't identical, and it's normally the other way around. So normally you get more atmosphere in the actual atmosphere itself, and the reflections is the complete opposite. So in this case, it's the other way around. That's what I'm saying. When you start studying this image, you start seeing these things in it that But who? Look, what's it? Stephen, is it Stephen C?
Yeah. Is it
Stephen, mate? I would love to see the raw of this, and it would be good to do an open discussion about your actual raw itself and how to make this image. Just give it justification for everything about this image, because it's beautiful. I'm not putting it down. I'm actually saying it deserves more.
Yeah, for sure. And the way you've actually processed the sky, you've done a great job with, because it's controlled and it's not blown out. You've got really nice tones in the sky. You've done that really, really well. So there's just that section to the right that I maybe would have changed, but that's in the whole image, that's probably all I would have changed.
Yeah, it's a stunning image otherwise.
Yeah, because even if they've left that little bit of atmosphere just floating in here, I think it would have actually added a little bit more mystery to the island itself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. How do you feel about the log?
That doesn't actually bother me.
No, not creeping into the reflection.
No, it doesn't bother me at all. Actually,
it's centered. Yeah, so
it's centered, so it's not really throwing you off one way or the other.
No,
it's holding you in. It's almost like an anchor, I guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah. Heaps of potential, that one. It's just it's just had the kitchen sink thrown at it a little bit too much.
Well done, though, Stephen.
Thank you for editing.
Plenty you can do with that, definitely. So really well done.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get on to the next image. So I just want to catch up. Was Josh, nothing wrong with being picky, Matt, and a perfectionist. I'll edit that. And Gary Thompson says, totally agree. I believe that what you should deliver should be as close to the image that you saw and not over processed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
But people have different, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And it
Look,
is a
I'm-
journey, isn't it?
Look,
You know.
Tom, I know that I've talked to you about this, Tom, many times before in the past about post-processing, and we've talked about this before because you're obviously with your post-processing, you're at a very experimental stage, aren't you? You're not quite sure which direction you want to go in, are you? And we've talked about it before, and we've said that, you know, with post-production, there is manipulation and then there's extraction. And, you know, within a raw image itself, we have extraction because that raw file captures data, captures information, digital information from the image we took. It's our job in post-production, if you're really, really good at it and you understand it that well, because it's a whole entire universe out there. If you understand it that well and you can actually extract that raw data to give dimension and feeling and atmosphere into the image exactly how it was, you've made a masterpiece. And it's not easy, you know.
Right.
Then you've got manipulation. Okay, so manipulation is completely different. You're actually adding. All right, so you're not extracting, you're adding.
Yeah.
That's the fine line that we have to chase with here. Adding's great. It's going to give your image something, you know, amazing. But extraction is far more. If you extract the image, it in the long run will be a far better quality image because it's real. It's real data. It's not fake data.
Yeah.
You know, and the trained eye can see fake data from a mile away.
Yeah. That's definitely true, yeah.
Right.
17 and a half minutes on, and we've only talked about one image. Shut up, man.
Yeah. You were doing great.
I told you you'd be better off without me tonight.
That's all. So we're going to go to this next one, which is Charlotte C. Aspen Tree at Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, it's I just love the simplicity of these. I said simplicity there. If you couldn't quite,
Yeah.
yeah, struggling with my nose today.
I heard sympathy, struggling with your nose, with your
yeah.
palate, with everything, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love the form, the shape. You know, it is what it is, isn't it? Who doesn't like a backlit leaf?
Especially aspen trees. I love aspen
Yeah,
trees.
the way that the light hits the bark and
Yeah.
just sort of really just makes it pop, doesn't it?
It does. Definitely.
They're an easy subject too, aren't they? As the aspen trees, aren't they? Just glow. They're so vibrant, aren't
They
they?
are, yeah, they are. It's like an organized chaos, aren't they? When you that's what I like about them is when you really deep it, when you really look into it, there's so much to see. There's so much hidden. There's sort of mystery behind certain areas of the leaves and the little. So there's not. Although they look simple, they are actually quite complex, aren't they? When you really start to think about it.
Well, really, they're a detail shot.
Yeah.
When you're this tight in, but what I like about these shots is that they fill the entire frame.
Yeah. It's almost like a wallpaper shot, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're very texture and pattern orientated. These kind of shots.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah,
But,
definitely.
So, looking at this, I don't know what your thoughts about it are.
Don't ask me.
Probably the same as yours.
Yeah, well, if I asked you, we'll still be here half an hour later. But
Tom, what do you think about this image?
it's the bottom left branch that's bothering me.
Yeah, you're onto it. Yep.
And I think I would have probably cropped that out.
Oh, God, you're right. That's not very often that happens, is it?
What, me being right?
Well,
Yeah. Oh, no, me agreeing with you. Sorry.
Yeah, that bottom branch down there for me, I would crop out on the left.
Square crop.
Yeah,
yes.
I would probably think so. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's just it makes you lean too heavy on the left, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right there. Right. Oh, you're onto it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's more what I would have probably done with it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lot more even, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because that bottom trunk, we've got a lot of inconsistency. And the inconsistency is you look up that trunk, it's vertical, it goes all the way up through the middle of your frame. It's got branches coming off from left to right, all the way up.
Yeah.
But you've got that bottom section, the bottom third, where it's got nothing. And then it's
Yeah.
got right at the bottom, one that comes out to the left.
Yeah, and it pulls you
So,
out of the frame.
Yeah,
to me.
and it doesn't have symmetry. The beautiful
Yeah.
thing about taking these trees, because this is one of the images this is one of the type of shots that I love taking. I love
Yeah.
looking at branches close up and trying to get symmetry and trying to understand the chaos and trying to make it, it fit within the corners of your
Yeah.
frame. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing to do, to get under a tree and do that. And
Yeah.
definitely there's some inconsistency in symmetry with that crop. So definitely a square crop.
Yeah.
I
think it changes it completely.
definitely
by doing
changes it. Definitely changes it a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Nice background too, by the way. I really like
It
that
is.
background. It sort of
Yeah.
really forces you to look at the background, doesn't it? Because it's so punchy.
Yeah.
You look at everything and then you sort of go, oh, that's what's in the background. Pine trees. Yeah.
Well, these kind of shots work really well both ways. You can have you can either have a really bright background or a really dark background. But if it blends in too much, then you're not really doing it justice. But if it's really dark behind, it works, or it's really light, I find it works well too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lovely shot.
Yeah, I think it is. Well done. Great. I haven't really got anything else to criticize about that, to be honest. It's a fantastic job apart from that crop. That's the only thing I could suggest.
Yeah, we're a big favour on the crop these days, aren't we, guys?
Yeah, we have a crop, don't we?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, we've got those big megapixel cameras. Might as well use them. No
Well,
point in having a 40 megapixel camera if you're going to put everything on Instagram, is there? Might as well
No.
crop the crap out of it. Yeah.
Well, they will and compress it
Yeah.
anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Mm.
Right, the next one I want to get on to is Patty B, and it's Blue Ridge Park as well. And bring this one up. Oh, let me just go back into library and bring that up.
Yeah.
Now, same here for me.
Yeah.
Funnily enough.
Yeah, it is. It's the same. It's very nearly there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's the branches on the right, and
Big
the
distraction.
top
Yeah.
left corner is a big distraction too.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing having sky in the shot that works okay, but when you've just got like a little corner, I find it really distracting because it's just pulling your eye away.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Just want to grab this message, and it's Costa's saying, if you like the original ratio, is healing out the bottom branch a cardinal sin? No, not really, not at all. If you wanted to do that, then I don't see any problem with that at all. I have more issue putting things into an image than I do taking them away.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If something's distracting, I have no issue at all cloning it out or removing it, whatever it takes.
I always clone Paul Thompson out of all my photographs because he always steps in front of me when I go to take a photo. So
I'll just wait till February. Now you've said that, mate.
All right. Yeah. You running around your bare bum. Yeah.
No, I don't know about YouTube, but cloning things out is I always have a layer on Photoshop when I'm editing, and it'll just be dedicated to clean up.
Removal.
Often removal, dust and things like that is every time. But removing it is a big part of the process for me. Sometimes you don't find anything. Sometimes you think I didn't see that.
Have you guys ever in Photoshop ever used the liquify before?
Yeah.
Liquify is quite powerful. If you use it properly, you get yourself a really, really big brush and you put the liquify on there and you move it. It'll just move. It'll move everything out the way. It just liquefies. It just moves it out the way. And I find that sometimes to be more effective rather than sitting there with a brush and trying to get everything. It might not be correct. You just liquefy it out the way, or Yes, I said liquefy. If you go into, there's a comment up there. If you go into Photoshop and you go to filter, I believe it is, and in filter,
Yeah.
and you go down, there's the liquefy selection. Click on that. It'll give you the huge big brush. Now that brush, basically, you grab everything, you go blip, and you move it out of the way. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It just stretches the pixels, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Essentially what
it stretches everything out of the way. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's quite effective, but you need to know how to use it correctly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in this case, you could probably just go for just a crop.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just a simple crop. There's not much on the right hand side. It does give everything a bit of breathing space on the right hand side, but if you maybe cropped it just a tad and then just masked out a bit of the branches left over, probably more effective, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, you
Yeah.
might have to do a bit of both on that right there.
Mm.
But yeah, that top and bottom left-hand corner, it needs sorted out.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
But I love those yellows, those limey yellows. They're beautiful, aren't they?
Well, it's the light as well. I think it's obviously an evening light, isn't it? It's got
that light
warm...
rushing in from that top corner there.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, isn't it? It's just touching everything lightly. With regard to post-production, I would probably consider grabbing the reflections themselves, so your foreground, making a complete selection there and increasing your whites in your foreground, because naturally, as the eye sees things, our foreground's closer to us. So it's normally a bit more punchy, a bit sharper. It's a bit more contrasty because it's closer to us. The further we move away, everything softens. And we get, that less expanse of contrast. So the sort of contrast becomes closer together. I would probably do that just to give it a bit of a sense of dimension. Apart from those two things, a great image, definitely.
Yeah. What I will say as well is I really like the way, I don't know if it was determined or it was deliberate, but the way they've positioned themselves. So you've got the darker tree on the left. It really adds, doesn't it, to the mystery, the journey. So it really emphasizes that light. Whereas if it was more around to the right, you would really lose that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think that having that dark kind of emphasizes the light.
Yeah, definitely.
It does.
It really adds to the depth of the shot.
Well, it gives the lighting a starting point, doesn't it? It's not just light and that's it.
Yeah,
it tells you where it's all happening.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Because otherwise, if you just got light all over it, then it doesn't mean anything. It's
you just have a white image.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fantastic shot. Apart from those little subtle things that we would recommend that you change there. Right. I'm going to bring up this next one that I actually found, and it's on a similar tack actually. And the reason why you'll see in a minute, which is Susan S, and it's Yellow Fall in Ricketts Glen, wherever that is.
Oh, hang on. Okay, you've skipped one. All right. Yep, I'm onto it now.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay. Ooh.
I'm just keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I'm on my toes, mate. Don't worry. My blood pressure's about 720 at the moment, so it's fine. Know about it.
So this would be the same as we were talking about before, removing objects. This is one of those times that I would really do some heavy getting rid of stuff. And it's the mess down the bottom of the falls there that really annoys me. That branch sticking up, especially into the falls.
Oh, gotta hate dead twigs. They're not branches, they're twigs, aren't they? We call them in Australian. I don't know what you call them in the UK, but twigs are annoying, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's nothing worse than, it's like mud between the snow.
Yeah.
It just, it doesn't do it, does it?
No.
It makes it look really messy.
And, it does, doesn't it?
So I would be really tempted to kind of clone those out of there, get rid of them by any means, really, and just clean up the bottom of the falls. Because for me, the shutter speed's great. That's the kind of shutter speed I would aim for water.
Yeah, good dynamics, definitely. Yeah,
beautiful texture in it. There's no real blown out highlights in the water. It's been controlled really well.
Framing's really good as well. It's quite an obvious framing, but it works really well.
Well, that's it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, some people get hung up with it's an obvious framing. Well, if it's obvious, it obviously works. So nothing wrong with using it.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely.
One thing I would say is that what you do find around waterfalls, especially, and I've just found that myself this last couple of weeks, is that when you've got the downdraft of the water coming down, it creates a lot of breeze and movement. And if it's something that bothers you, where you're getting a lot of movement in the leaves around it, you're going to want to do 2 exposures, a faster one to stop that motion in the leaves, and then another one for the actual motion in the water that you want.
And it's easy. It's easy to mask in water flow.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's not difficult, but I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter because there's not enough movement to warrant going to all that hassle. But this is quite obvious because it's
Oh
there.
yeah. In that the middle frame on the left hand
Yeah.
side there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely. Yeah, it is distracting.
Yeah.
I find with this image more than anything else, apart from all the comments that you made, that one thing it does lack, and for me, it's the most essential part of landscape photography, is light.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very flat.
it is.
It's taken at a time of day where there was nothing. Well, it was just probably an overcast day more than anything else, but definitely taken in a situation where there was no atmosphere. You know, it's very
Yeah.
flat, very
Yeah.
flat. Unfortunately,
Waterfalls are really one of those things. See, it's difficult, I guess, because a lot of people will tell you that the best time to shoot a waterfall is overcast skies, which it is in general because you don't get specular highlights in the water
Yeah.
and all the rest of it.
yeah,
But there are certain times a day that would work equally as well as if there was sun up here casting light through from the top of the image, backlighting some of these trees, it wouldn't be doing anything to the water. So you'd have light in the image, but it wouldn't be causing any distractions on the water itself.
yeah. It's a matter of sitting there for the right moment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's there are times of day that you can get everything, is what I'm trying to say. You can get light and you can get enough overcast sky to keep that water controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, like you said, it's about being there at the right time, being patient, keep going back.
But that's all, really. I mean, I like it
yeah.
apart from that, eh?
Yeah. Oh, another thing as well is knowing the area, knowing the shot, knowing how light reacts, where certain light hits, depending on what time of day. So you know when you need to be there for when you want this light to come in, whichever way you want it to come in. So knowledge of the area is a massive thing, isn't it?
Well, it is. But if you're only visiting an area, then then you're going to have to use something like photo pills or something like that to decide where the sun would come through.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's local to you, then definitely you could even go there without the camera and just sit and watch what happens.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, if it's somewhere that you're just visiting, then obviously you've got to kind of look for those conditions yourself and using something like photo pills or photographer's ephemeris, something like that, just to
photographers are who? Sorry,
photographer's ephemeris, I think it's called.
Yeah,
the feminists.
No, ephemeris.
Oh, I was going to say because most landscape photographers are actually. Unfortunately, yeah. Okay.
That's a great tip as well, though, about the shutter speed. I would say 9 out of 10 people wouldn't even do that. Wouldn't even think about doing that. They'd be too scared to do it.
No, but it's just these subtle little things. I mean, you get the big image, and then you don't really pay much attention to the finer details. And I think those finer details is what makes a good image turn into a great image.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
just.
And these days, like you said, with the way Photoshop and Lightroom is, they're not unachievable, are they?
No, not at all. Not at all. Well done. Yeah. Good job. Right. I'll go back to the one I missed.
Hang on.
And this is Mr. George Cormanicki.
Oh, yeah.
And this one I threw in there as well because it really stood out.
Oh, it's a painting, isn't it?
I know.
It looks like a painting, doesn't it?
I absolutely love this. It's like what's the word? Like mythical. It's got like a mythical feel about it.
It's got a crossover between a painting and a photo. It's quite
yeah. so delicate on the eye. Although you've got an obvious sort of subject leading through the middle, I don't really get drawn. It doesn't smack you in the face, does it? So you're like your eyes sort of darts around.
Yeah, I think you're drawn to the lighter areas of the
Yeah,
foliage
yeah,
more
yeah,
than
definitely.
anything.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes you step backwards, not forwards, and I think
Yeah.
that's something that's a good thing.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
a lot of photography that we look at, or art in general, a lot of time we start looking in the details. Hang on a second, let me check that out. This one makes you step backwards because you're like, hang on a second, I like this. So you
Yeah.
need to kind of step back a bit more to really get the whole frame in.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
You know, which is what we do on a computer. We'd make it smaller.
yeah,
Which is, they say, before you post an image, make it really, really small so you can get an
Yeah.
idea of what it looks. Yeah, it gives you that idea. You need to step back and understand all of it,
yeah,
Yeah,
not just sections of it. As your eyes sort of scanning it.
definitely.
I like it because it's got this soft palette. It is. It's like brushwork, isn't it? It's,
Yeah.
I spent the last few days going through many museums in the Netherlands, and we'll know that there's some important artists that came out of that country
yeah,
since the 16th century. You had Rembrandt, you had Van Gogh, you had some such important artists because they had access to paint, which many
Yeah.
countries didn't have access to. And so the amazing artists coming out of there, and a lot of them experimented with different type of palette work and different techniques, and looking at something like this because it obviously they painted in a country that didn't have these mountains and this dramatic light. It was all very soft palette, and the Netherlands it's 15 meters below sea level, the majority of the country. So
Yeah.
you don't have mountain that's flat. And the trees that you have, or the forests that you have, aren't that. It's not dense, but it's just very, very subtle. Everything's very
Yeah.
subtle. And you can see that in this. It's very subtle. You got that subtle light too, but it's got this beautiful palette work of these different variants of greens and yellows.
Yeah.
That's what attracts you. There's so many variations of a color wheel that's very, very close together.
Yeah.
Of these greens and these yellows, which is that's what is attracting us to it. These many
Yeah.
variations in two colors,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what I really like as well is the separation between the trees because it works. There's nothing really overlapping that's in your immediate.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I like it. Like
You know
Matt
what I
said,
mean?
yeah, definitely, yeah. It's so important, isn't it? Woodland is separation and
Well, yeah, because it stops that sort of distraction when you've got crossing branches and all the rest of it, or crossing
Yeah.
trees, or
yeah,
it's always about just stepping left or right and just being able to hide trees behind other trees or
Yeah.
whatever it might take.
yeah, definitely, yeah, and position that sort of stream or in the middle nicely as well.
Oh yeah, and the
Uh,
cropping of it's spot on, isn't it, Tom?
yeah,
The cropping's really good.
Yeah, I would say so. I really like the way how much room they've left at the bottom.
Yeah,
Because it's sort of it's a perfect amount, isn't it? It's not
Mm.
it's added mystery, but at the same time, it's just showing you enough of where it's ended up, which I
Yeah.
quite like. And it's not distracting either. At the same time, you're not being pinned down, are you? So
I think too. George took this image, didn't he?
Yeah, George.
Hey,
Coleman.
George, how are you, mate? We'll see you soon. George
Yeah.
is coming with us on a
wow,
workshop.
nice.
Coming up with us on a workshop in Abruzzo in which month?
May.
May. God, I better remember that.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah, I better book the hotels. You can really see from this image from George. We don't know George that well. Never met him personally. Who George is, and he's definitely not an out there person. He's not. He doesn't want to attract attention. He wants to be in harmony with the landscape, and he wants to enjoy the landscape for its subtle beauty. And you can really tell an image like this, the type of person who took it. I think I see it that way anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's got a certain personality to who this George is that we don't know, and I'm looking forward to meet the bloke because that's a beautiful shot, mate.
I speak to him quite regularly. He emails me at least once a week, which is He seems very much that way
Mm.
for sure. And he sent me a couple of images, but this one that popped up today really stood out to me. Really,
It's very original. It's very original, and it's that's the type of image that could take it. You could take it far with an image like this. You know, the
Yeah.
image doesn't finish here. You know,
Yeah.
you need to accompany it with some words. You need to print it out. You need to add it to a collection. Maybe try and sell it as an online print or something. It deserves to go somewhere, I think. Maybe the area that it's taken in isn't a well-known area, or maybe people who are passionate about this area, walkers, for example, might not have many photographers taking images in an area like this. So these are things you've got to look into when you're taking a photo. You know, this could be an area where no one's been before and photographed, but it could belong to a society of bird watchers, for example. You know, who are very passionate about the area. So this is where, when I mean an image deserves to go somewhere, this could be an example of where a piece of art like this can go somewhere, you know?
Yeah. I would say at the moment I've found like a really nice, a really fruitful area of the woods, and I keep going back there every time I go to the woods. The same, it's only like, I don't know, 400 meters square. There's so much opportunity. There's so many interesting characters in there. I know there's more to offer. But what I'm looking for is like a scene that I think I can shoot through the year.
Yeah,
Because I want like a project or something to do. This is that. This would be a project. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is that sort of shot that I would love to shoot in snow, in deep winter, in spring. You know, it would, and to add it, like you said, Matt, have it like as a body of work, because it definitely deserves, like you said, some sort of story behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, George. Well done.
Lovely. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Georgie. I agree with you, Tom. Definitely, mate.
Yeah, I think so.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Right. We're cracking on. We've got 40 minutes in now. Right. Bring this on up by Serge. And
that rings a bell. Your surname's not Ramelli by any chance, is it?
No,
I'm Serge Ramelli.
I get an email from that guy every day.
Do you really?
Trying to sell me books.
Well, he did well with Lightroom in the beginning, didn't he? This is how you use. That was my worst French accent ever, actually. Stop it, man. Yeah. This is how you use Lightroom. No, that was more Spanish, wasn't it? God damn it. I told you I'm not well tonight. Can't do my accents.
So what are your thoughts about this one, guys? Just
go, Tom.
So I think that
you said it. That's it. That's pretty much what I think. Yeah. Like what we said yesterday, what we said earlier about the separation, Paul.
Yeah.
Incredibly hard scene to as you
to separate.
To try and position these trees in a way where you're not really conflicting major characters, are you?
No.
The light obviously helps, pulls you through. There's lots of mystery in the back there, because you can see what Serge is trying to do, can't you? You can see why he took this image.
Yeah, you can.
Obviously, that's aside the subject in the middle. Sort of pulls you in.
Pulls you in, yeah.
Like the anchor point we talked about earlier. Very similar thought process, I would say.
Now, it's not easy to separate, but they've done a pretty good job of separating most things.
Yeah, that's the biggest. It's funny when you, as a photographer, especially a woodland photographer, looking at this, the separating a scene like this would be an absolute nightmare. Which I'm assuming a lot of people, I don't think, would really notice that, would they? Or notice the importance of it. They know what looks interesting, but they don't necessarily understand what it is.
Yeah.
So, but as a photographer looking at this, you really have to appreciate how hard these pines are. They're very regimented and tend to be in lines.
Yeah, planted forest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, and they're not normally a very. They get branded, don't they, as not a very interesting subject. These
Well, a lot of the times they're not really
No.
compared to what we have in the UK. I think especially because we've got a lot of native trees, obviously
Yeah.
beech forests and oak
Yeah.
forests.
Hmm.
These are kind of,
Yeah.
which is why, like when I've just been to Canada, for example, and you go to like old growth pine forests,
Yeah.
it's completely different.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have character about them. They have, difference about them. Whereas these planted forests, yeah, I know what you mean. They're very sort of clinical looking, I think.
Clinical is a good word, actually. Yeah, I like clinical, but it
So
doesn't mean there
what
isn't shot
stands
story.
out in this though, Tom? What are you saying? Okay, why did we pick this image? It's not a pine forest. Why did we pick it?
Well, it's that tree in the middle there, the light hitting it. That's
An atmosphere.
an atmosphere in the background. I like the fact that they're not scared to include lots of white, because without it wouldn't be the same. But this shot needs that, doesn't it?
Lots of white.
Like bright areas. Sorry, like white. It needs that bright background. I think to sort of so you're right. So it's not too clunky. It's not too contrasty.
Well, it helps separate the
yeah,
that
exactly.
thing in the middle of the frame, that beech
So
tree in the middle of the frame. For
Yeah.
sure.
So it's not just position of the trees, it's conditions need to be right. Because like Matt said, the things that are in the front, like these two trees here, they're going to be in your face, which they are, and they need to be sharp, which they are. And then your eye is going to drift off into the distance, and which is going to add mystery, which is what the conditions are at the time, which helps the separation, and the whole story begins to come together. But I love the subject in the middle.
Well, for me, that kind of is the story, because you've got basically native hardwood trees growing in a plantation.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the whole story of the image for me.
It is. It is definitely. Yeah.
And these pine trees, they're all the same, aren't they? They don't get sunlight down other than the tops, and they're all dead at the bottoms. So it's nice. Again, like you said, that really emphasizes the story because that's surviving nicely at the bottom there.
Serge says a bit of a mess on the floor. Sorry. Well, there's not a
few twigs there, mate. Yeah.
A few twigs.
I don't think you're going to clone those out, mate.
No.
You'll be there for a while.
Yeah. You have to sometimes work with what you have, and if that's what you have, then
that's another reason why these planted woodlands are sort of given the side is because of that, isn't it? It's because of the mess on the ground, and because the trees are dead at the bottom. It's impossible to hide.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well done. Nice shot. So, just want to ask you guys if you've got an idea for a topic. I've got kind of one in mind, seeing as we're heading into winter. Obviously, I was thinking something winter wonderland, so all to do with snow. I thought it would be quite an interesting subject because we haven't really done anything with winter shots to do with snowy scenes.
With global warming at the moment, mate, I hope it's going to snow in time.
Well, you never know.
We haven't even got autumn here yet.
Well, is it not even gone?
The trees are still green. The trees are still green, and we're in November. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Ours is quite late, I must admit. Ours has only really kicked in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's been funny.
Yeah. Hope you left that tent clean.
Yeah, that's Bry Barnum. Yeah. Because obviously he uses the same roof tent as I've just used on Adam's van.
Okay. You clean with a toothbrush?
Yeah. Basically.
You're gonna have to come back, mate.
Yeah. So I was thinking something like that. Winter Wonderland shots, snow in winter, something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Snowy landscapes, winter landscapes. Which one works for you?
Winter landscapes makes it more broad, doesn't it?
Maybe we should go with winter landscapes, and the month after we can go with snow.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom.
I think that would probably be quite good.
Yeah. Winter landscapes then. Right. So we're going to do winter landscapes, and what's going to happen is, seeing as this seems to have been working a lot better, this format, by not putting it directly on the Facebook group, but getting you guys to submit to the actual website.
Yeah.
not only does it increase the quality of the photographs that we're actually getting that we can show you live on screen, it makes a heck of a difference to us to be able to see the image clearly.
Yeah.
I think it's better for you guys as well.
It's so much easier for us to find, isn't it?
And I think there's more interaction too off the website, if I'm not wrong. People can actually write comments and can share those images.
Yeah.
It makes that just a bit more real, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So what we're going to do is OPG will actually give you a gallery to submit your images to. So we're going to go winter landscapes. So there will be a winter landscapes gallery open up on the website, which we're going to get you guys to submit to. Now we'll post that link for you when we get it, as will OPG, and we'll also get them to put it up on Facebook as well, so you can kind of link from there as well and get those images out. So we no longer will require the hashtag OPG critique, because they'll just go directly into this gallery, but we'll just make sure that you have all the information to hand. Yeah,
because I know people are still doing it. So
so we'll have to check back with that as well to make sure there's obviously there's people getting picked up that should be, but I think that's the better format to go with.
Definitely.
Okay, so we've only got 2 more to do. We're doing all right. We've got 10 minutes to go. So bring this one up. In fact, just let me reduce that again, because that's Jeff Daniels in Glencoe Locken. Now, I'm sure he's submitted this Glencoe Locken at a different time of year before, but it really stood out because of the colour palette and everything in here.
Yeah. I'm just taking it in again.
Yeah.
So look at.
Wish I was there.
Yeah, I know. Straight off the bat, it's a very accurate, isn't it? Top and bottom, like we've had. What did you say? The reflections.
Yeah.
They're very, I would, like Matt was saying earlier, they're very obviously they're not never going to be identical because it's a reflection, but I would say they're a lot more.
It's consistent, basically.
Consistent, yeah. Consistent, yeah. And what do you think he's on? A boat? The other side? Jetty? Not a jetty.
It could be one end of the lock on this
one end
one.
of the lock, yeah.
It could well be.
With a long lens, like Matt said.
Yeah, it could be either of those, really. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, really, really beautiful. Beautiful scenes. There's something weird going on in the tones, in the mountains, in the background
there. Yeah. Very purpley. And...
Yeah. But as an image, other than those tones, I really like it.
Is that I've found it in the past with post-production. It might not be in this case, but where your sky's too bright and you've tried to darken it down too much, and when you've darkened it, when you've blown some of those highlights, you get this weird effect about it.
Yeah, weird sort of hazy, halo-y sort of.
Yeah. Or sometimes if you've done a sky selection and it's actually chosen some of the land as well, which it does do sometimes. If you don't mask that back out, it can affect that area. Could be one of those. I don't know. But there's definitely purple tones in those mountains back there.
Yeah, there is. It's a hard shot, isn't it? I know the modern cameras these days are very good, aren't they? But it still takes some thought, doesn't it? The exposure of this shot in the moment. Them shadowy areas down at the bottom right, the left, there, the darker trees. Well,
I'm just actually wonder whether that island has been brightened slightly.
Yeah,
because the light hitting that island and the sun is actually setting behind those trees, so the light, it wouldn't be getting light.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. Again, it's like kind of like a painting a bit again.
Yeah,
it's got that sort of painting quality.
Yeah, there's an interesting palette about it all, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's when sort of you got those colours that I know you find that the purple a bit disturbing, but that's up to atmosphere. Sometimes that's what atmosphere creates. I've seen
Yeah,
some weird
sometimes.
colours out there in the past. I've seen blues in places where you go, "What the hell?" I'm taking a
Yeah.
photo of a cliff on a mountain that's white and it's blue. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
But look, I think it is about those palettes, isn't it? We've got oranges and reds and purples that sort of sit well together, and at a first glance, they work well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's like someone, when they put a pair of pants and a jumper and a hat on, they try and make them match, don't they? And that's all about everything in the color wheel matching.
Yeah.
And this is an example of something in a landscape that is tend to match quite well. If you look at that little green area down on the bottom left, down on the middle foreground, right up on the left-hand side, that green area doesn't match the rest of the image.
Yeah.
It's out of place, because that color doesn't match with the other colors we have in the color wheel here. Here, it's just very, very smooth. It's painting-like because it's almost like those colors have been chosen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the way that it's presented.
It's nicely balanced, I feel.
Definitely the sky is and I've been in instances where you can't do anything with the sky. I don't know why, whether something's been blown out, whether you're blowing your highlights and you're trying to darken it and it gets this really pastel feel about it and it tends to look almost artificial. Well, sometimes the sky is just like that. It's just got a really bad light about it and the clouds have just got this weird atmosphere to them and there's not much you can do about it. I can see consistent reflection of that atmosphere. And that's how it would have been.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. It's consistent, isn't it? So hard to sort of pick something out when it's consistent.
Both top and bottom.
Yeah.
But lovely framing and everything.
Definitely.
Well, so I'm just going to remind you one more time before we hit this last image. That,
you sound like my father then. I'm just going to remind you one more time.
That we're going to do winter landscapes for the next OPG critique. And we're going to get you to submit your images to the actual Outdoor Photography Guide website. Now, there's going to be a link put up, which will obviously be winter landscapes, and it'll be a gallery in which you can post all of these images in, and we'll be able to pick them out a whole load easier because we can find them straight away. They're all in one place, and also the images are going to be far better quality for us to go through as well.
Definitely. Yep.
Right, on to the last one, which is Grist Mill, Glade Creek. Now, I saw a lot of this place.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've been all over the internet at the moment, hasn't it?
It has.
It seems to be a hotspot for workshops and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. I can see why. For sure.
Yeah, well, it's not a bad shot, is it? That's for sure.
No, it's nice. It's nice. Now, what I was talking about before with light and specular highlights hitting water, you can see clearly here what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Now, it's got light, which is great, but it's also got specular highlights down in that waterfall on the bottom.
Yep.
And those are the bits that always annoy me when I'm taking waterfall shots.
Yeah.
They're really hard to get rid of. The only real way you can get rid of them is to clone them out. Unless you've got the conditions where it's not happening, or you just wait for that light to come up, a cloud to pass over, like that, just to stop that happening. I like the fact that it's got light in this image, though. So although you've got all these branches around the outside, which are obviously slightly darker, the actual center of the image has got light in it, so it's drawing you through. So, and some who's saying Chris Van Twisk is saying underexpose a shot for the water. Well, that's generally what I do, is I always underexpose a shot for the water.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Or I just underexpose a shot. Full stop. Because of the way we shoot now and the cameras we use, really, if you're only having to underexpose by 1 or 2 stops, there's no reason why you can't bring those details back from the rest of the image.
That's right. With the DR, the dynamic range we have in sensors these days, they're so powerful. We can pull incredible amounts of details out of them now. So.
This has been shot to sort of try and make it even, isn't it? And it's like you said, if you'd have shot for the highlights, then I think you would have had a lot more data to work with. You would have ended up with a lot more less in your face. You would have been able to deal with that water a little bit better.
We've got Chris saying here he finds this image too bright on the outside of the frame. Look, I think at the top section of the frame, it's inviting because it's showing you that we have a light source coming from a direction.
Yeah.
So probably in that sense, it's not that distracting. But look, I find the biggest distraction we have with this image is focus.
Yeah.
There's a lot of soft areas in this image.
Yeah, there is a lot.
And it's a bit too much. Soft areas in your immediate foreground when we're framing is nice. You know, sometimes people do these images where they're taking a picture of a castle in the distance and they got these flowers that are all around them that are all out of focus but extremely blurred. And there's an effect there that's very, very mutual.
Yeah.
I think in this instance, this is down to laziness.
It's missed focus more than anything. It's not intentional it's not intentional use of depth of field. It's just missed focus by the look of it.
Yeah, it depends. Those branches could have been very close to your immediate foreground. You might have had to do a photo stack with it, but
definitely.
It would have made a bit of a difference to the image, I think.
Yeah.
And probably the time of day might have been a bit too late in the day, but I like the frame.
Yeah, I think
the idea of the frame. The idea of the frame is definitely there.
Yeah,
definitely draws you in. Definitely draws you in. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I would have. I don't know if I would have maybe have liked. It's difficult, isn't it? Because obviously not there, but there's a bit of mystery to it, isn't there? You can't quite see all of what's going on in the background.
Yeah.
Which I quite like. But yeah, I just think.
Makes you do this. It makes you
lean
around it.
That's exactly what I'm doing, and I don't know whether I wanted them to be more to the right, so I didn't have to do that. But I just think it's like Matt said. It's just even not knowing how depth of field works, or choosing the wrong aperture, or not realizing that maybe it's impossible in a focus stack.
Yeah. I mean, it might just be that it's picked up focus on a branch or something.
Yeah, exactly. It might be autofocused and it's
it might
more
have picked
snapshot. You don't know, do you?
But the idea is there. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah,
definitely.
Good stuff.
Great stuff. Well, thanks for submitting those images this month, guys. It's been fantastic to see the quality of images has really gone up. Not only in quality for us seeing them, but actual quality in images for you guys producing them as well. It seems to have really brought in some nice work.
Yeah, definitely.
Get those images submitted into the website for the next one. You'll see some promotion pop up on the website to tell you when it's going to happen and also where the gallery is going to be. And it's going to be winter landscapes for the next one. Okay. Thanks very much for joining us, guys. It's been great. And thank you, too, for helping me out here. And I'll see you all soon. Take care.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.